Why, hello
All right.
there. Oh, you go. Darn. Go for it.
I was just going to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another league match.
I thought you weren't going to do it.
To which?
To start. Okay, it's okay. It's all right.
I'm
We
bad
got
at
this.
this.
All right, we have a race between, and I've been practicing this. Oops, de War es Oct Nicht versus Hime. That was pretty good. Yeah.
I think we got it.
Sweet.
Teamwork. It was all you, but, teamwork.
So apparently people who live on like other countries and stuff have to wake up earlier in the day than I do. So it's super early for me.
It's pretty early here, but, it's good 4 p.m. for these two, I believe. Because we're in the unofficial official German division, correct?
Something like that. Basically the German finals, but different. Boots are in the light world. That's so helpful. Thanks, Uncle.
Thank you, Uncle.
Hey guys, this is week 2 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We have these guys who are both on teams of 3 facing off each other, trying to gain points for their team so they can go on to the playoffs.
This week we have Ambrosia mode. That is a standard start with an assured sword before you even get to them, and items always guaranteed on bosses, so a non-big key compass or map.
Uncle forgot his bow.
Such a shame. That must have been why he couldn't quite take on Aghanim there.
All right, well, we have some good news. The guards are in a prize pack that does have a bomb. It is the 5th kill, I believe, but it will be a single bomb.
Better than nothing. Plus, it's in the same prize pack once we get to the rope, so there's plenty of those to kill around.
Yeah, every enemy you kill only has a 50% chance of dropping an item and thus advancing the prize pack. So we'll probably see them kill like a few extra guards on the way just to help out along. So you see Ralen Tankir, he killed that guard there, but didn't drop anything. So it wasn't helpful. Kermit's not even worried about it, though. Poor Ralen.
Also, we had a map check earlier. I believe we had a green pennant Tower of Hera and regular crystal at Eastern Palace with a red crystal at Desert Palace.
Ralen's killed 3 extra guards so far and hasn't gotten a single drop. This is very frustrating because it is quite far into the prize pack that this spawn exists. And while there are a bunch of ropes we kill later, like you might just get really unlucky with all of them too.
Yeah, it is a bit of luck. So, hey, that's a bow.
Oh,
that's where Uncle left it.
That's where he put it. That's actually really helpful because with those arrows, we're now going to have a much easier time on the ball and chain guard. 4 arrows is quite a bit faster than 8 slashes.
And convenient for once we get out of escape. We'll be able to do some stuff over in Eastern Palace. Just gives us some wonderful options to finding those booths.
Well, bombs don't really matter as much anymore. We got a glove. So even if we don't find a bomb throughout the escape, we will be able to just drop down to the back whenever we want and get those 3 chests. Ralen continuing to try to advance that prize pack. He's up to the green rupee now. That's good.
Is that the second or the third item? Or so I don't know. I wasn't keeping track.
I just kill stuff until I see the bomb.
It's one of those things. It's like I have that table up somewhere, and I just always keep forgetting to look at it. So I just know it's sort of passively.
Yeah, it can be really frustrating trying to ration, how much time you want to spend killing these guys. Because every time he does like a swipe or an arrow shot or something, like this costs time. It's not free to do that. So Kermit, who's killed very few enemies, that's why he's getting to the back of escape just a little bit faster here.
Yeah, but if Kermit doesn't find a bomb in chess and there is something in the back of escape there, could give Ralen just a little bit of an early edge. Like if he finds something like the flute, or does Hyrule Castle count as Light World?
Kermit kills 3 enemies and gets the bomb.
Oh,
Man,
wow.
unfortunately, there you go. We got it. All right, so he does they both get the bomb. That's good. Kermit put a lot less effort into it, though, by virtue of RNG.
He just knew it was all going to be in the ropes.
Hyrule Castle doesn't count as Light World. It's only things on the Overworld.
Okay, I wasn't 100% sure. I've played a good amount of Ambrosia, but not enough to know like what Uncle says is exactly which, because I didn't know if he can call dungeons or not.
Yeah, if it's like in Turtle Rock, he'll just say, in Turtle Rock.
Ooh, that is convenient for our runners. I don't believe we've picked up the map, have we?
I don't think so. We'll see how much attention they are paying. Yeah, see, Ralen does the map check there, or does the menu check there, specifically to see if he has the map, so he'll know not to open the Sanctuary chest. Or maybe he accidentally hit start. No, Kermit does the same thing.
It's just that double check of, wait, no map, right?
I never do the menu there. I just open the chest. If I don't know, I just go for it.
It's gonna be bugging you every time you go into Sanctuary now, because it's like, oh, I want to go open that chest.
All right, both runners spinning a menu to skip a chest.
I'd take that. I believe that's faster.
Kermit and Ralen opting to go straight to Lost Woods instead of going up to check the Lumberjack.
I can sort of agree. Until like you're sort of forced into Aga or you have boosts, there's really no real like super need to like rush there and be like, okay, let's go check this out.
Yeah,
except for maybe the ease of mind. Oh, sorry.
The main thing with going like up to the Lumberjack is you walk past a bush crab on the way. So like it's a lot easier to get the bush crab work. If you get the bush crab here, you have to like go up out of your way to do it, which neither of them did. And then also you get an extra tree pole because there's a tree pole on the way to Lumberjack, and then also this one in Lost Woods. So you'd have the opportunity to get the tier 1 pole, which Kermit does get by killing that bird, and it is bombs, so that's awesome. Ralen does kill the bird, but he doesn't go back for the tree pole. Oh no! It's be fine. He has enough money that he can just buy bombs. He's actually going to farm this 50-50 rock. This top rock here has a 50% chance of dropping a single bomb. It's taken him 3 attempts, though. Really just not winning these 50-50s today.
Definitely not playing the lottery on that.
Well, he will be fine moving forward. There are 3 bombs down here in the lion's hideout, so he'll have enough for the rest of Kakariko. And we did find the mirror as well, yep. I had a hammer. Look at that.
Convenient. Now all we need is the moon pearl somewhere here in the village, and we can just jump right into Dark World.
I'm expecting lamp or flute very soon.
That's just start making us think, oh well, could be Aga instead of just free Dark World access at 8 minutes in.
No, it would be Death Mountain access.
That too. Just open it up a little more.
Mirror and Hammer this early typically means you're heading over to East Death Mountain at some point. But, it can be just for other things. Like, they also both unlock Swamp Palace and such.
Yeah, that is true.
Or maybe the mirror locks absolutely nothing the entire seed, and the RNG item placement just happened to put it in an early sphere like this. Can't always follow breadcrumbs.
Yeah, sometimes breadcrumbs just lead to an eaten loaf of bread that's not even there anymore.
Or children that were cooked and eaten by a witch. Found their breadcrumb trail. We were just too late.
Someone should have called a lumberjack. I mean, we have two of them.
Doesn't that that fairy tale has German origins, doesn't it?
I believe it does.
Fitting with our runners today.
We're just keeping on point today.
Which one's Hansel and which one's Gretel?
I think Ralen would have to be Gretel in this case because he's using the Samus sprite, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. Oh, hello, Cape. Cape, not a terribly helpful item. It is a nice safety to have in general, but not going to get much use out of it early game. It does mean that if we find a lamp, suddenly Aga 1 will be in logic, although I cannot imagine that actually happens with us already having hammer and glove.
Yeah, that would have to be very specifically like Moon Pearl on Pyramid, which,
Yeah,
while it can happen,
that's the only thing that can make it happen is Moon Pearl and Pyramid.
There are still a lot of checks before that becomes a threat. And once again, Ralen's still losing these 50-50s.
Yeah, bombs have been a real problem for Ralen in this seed so far. I mean, eventually he'll just find a few bombs in a chest and we'll never worry about bombs ever again.
Yeah, or we do have plenty of money, may eventually just hunker down and buy bombs. Oh, and I initially missed that shovel. That'll be nicer to route in a little bit later.
It's kind of a rude place for the shovel. You really like to see that before Kakariko, and then you just walk over to it after Kak. And now to turn in the shovel, it's from a save and quit all by itself. Hopefully, we can pair it with the Smiths or something like that later. And there's our Moon Pearl, and thus Dark World access. No agate required at all ever today.
Unless Lumberjacks has something, but we'll find that out eventually.
I mean, maybe. Maybe it's Mimic Cave or something. Or the boots.
Mimic Cave would just be rude.
Ah, see, there's Raylan's bombs.
Yeah. Convenient, nice 10-pack.
Alright, Kermit going in to check Ice Rod Cave. Both of our runners on the exact same route so far. Kermit just a bit ahead.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how both these players decide to enter the Dark World from here, or whether they continue to check Light World checks.
Yeah, the standard play is go Hype Cave. And then with the mirror, go west, mirror, and then walk up through Kakariko to re-enter the Dark World at Village of Outcasts. But it's definitely not the only option. We might see somebody go up to Catfish, or we could just go straight to Pod with Hammer Bow. No light source, though, does make it a little treacherous.
And if they go west from Hype Cave, you'll be able to route in that shovel while you check Stumpy, because you have the mirror.
Definitely seems like an efficient option at this point. But who knows? Maybe something in Hype Cave will change our minds.
We'll see. Hype Cave, how disappointing are you today?
If I find the lamp here, I'm definitely going pod. But we find flippers. Oh, good. We can do left side swap now.
And a mushroom. I caught that red crystal over an ice palace. I didn't really get much more beyond that.
Oh, I zoned out when the map opened.
It was like too much to process with Hype Cave going on.
That's why we have a tracker and a chat. Alright, Kermit is headed west with his mirror. Gonna check Cave 45, the shovel, Stumpy, dig game, and then probably head into Village of Outcasts. Ralen, probably doing the same thing.
Hey, those are boots. Some nice footwear to speed this game up a little.
It's so funny they have the exact same route so far.
Well, at the very least, it appears to be working, so can't really blame them, right?
Yeah, you really couldn't have gotten the boots any earlier than they did.
There we go. Blue and red pennants on Turtle Rock and Mire today.
Interesting. So typically that ends up being for a faster seed. Kermit, where are you going? What is this? We have divergence. This is divergence.
Madness. The runners making different choices. Hey, a lamp!
Kermit was one check away from getting the lamp, which would have been really helpful for Palace of Darkness, which is where he's going. And Ralen's gonna follow him. So the only divergence is Ralen went one farther check and got a lamp.
Just crazy how that works sometimes. Alrighty, old Saha, what do you have in your closet today? Bunch of junk in a fire rod.
Fire Rod is actually really nice for Kermit here because he doesn't have that lamp.
Yeah,
It's
that'll
not
always
gonna
come through a little bit harder, or the dark rooms, like the turtle room on the way to Helmasaur.
Yeah, it's not going to be much help in like the Dark Maze, which doesn't have any torches, but both the Turtle Room and the Rupee Basement, really, really helpful. Rain going a little out of his way, going to check the island and probably Hobo on his way. Pick it up! Pick it up! Aww. It's the best arrow.
It was the arrow of destiny. It was meant for you.
Ralen being pretty thorough here, heading over to Hobo as well. This is probably the most convenient way to check Hobo. Like, it doesn't really get any better than mirroring over to it on the way to Pod.
Yeah, I never really got to see this routing that often, so kind of nice. And a flute. That is awful convenient for Ralen.
Yeah, super nice. With the flippers already, I mean, Kermit's going to do it eventually, but his check of it may not be as efficient. Oh, Ralen not going into Pod. Maybe after the pyramid.
Yeah, probably a matter of the crystal situation. I think with red crystals on Desert and Ice Palace, kind of ruling out the Fat Fairy having something super important, like, at any point.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely. Wow, Ralen Ralen just all over this overworld, not going into pod, even though he does have the lamp. Instead, opting to go up to Catfish and probably mirroring over for the flipper checks. This is
And
perfectly
possibly
reasonable.
even the
option.
mushroom too.
Kermit. Oh, okay, it's Ambrosia, right? It's like that's how that works.
You're
Yeah, so
playing
Kermit
dangerously.
found no, wait. Yeah. Okay, so he found 2 items and the big key, so he knows that the last item has to be on the boss, so he doesn't even bother opening the big chest. Nice sword there from Ralen. Definitely a helpful item to find.
Just zeroing in on these nice, convenient items, Ralen. Meanwhile, in just a moment here, Kermit's going to be drawing first blood on Armos Knights. And bring a pretty flower to the Catfish, see what they have for us today.
Oh, Kermit goes for the top right, but unfortunately was standing a little too close to that first Armos, and everything just started to fall apart. So the main thing here is you can't really make the fight fast anymore, but you can run out of arrows, so just don't do that and you'll be okay.
Yeah, it just becomes a matter of being patient and not messing yourself up. And those were some gloves in the Waterfall Fairy.
Ralen has all the things. God, are we just one item from Go mode?
I know, that's what I was looking at. I was like, do we actually have Go mode already? Like, at 21 minutes? Like, is this a thing?
Yeah, all we need is the hook shot and maybe Samaria for possible right side GT big key.
Well, if we're lucky, we'll see both those here in Palace of Darkness and maybe have like a 30-minute Go mode and just like be done before the hour's up. Be the fastest Ambrosia you've ever seen. Ralen checking a couple of these checks on his way to activate his flute real quick.
Nothing from the boots.
And I was going to say, this is probably going to be the point where we actually get that Lumberjack check and just completely 100% rule out Aga. That looks like just a piece of heart, I think.
I'm a little worried about Ralen moving forward. Because it's fine checking overworld as much as he has so far. Like it's fine. Like you need everything, so it's unlikely you're going to get to skip in all these checks anyway. But now that he's going to be close to like one item from Go mode, he needs to start like just beelining dungeons. Because if the hookshot's on the way, he has like this huge advantage. But if he just continues and starts checking like Dark Death Mountain and the Mire area and everything instead of doing dungeons, that could burn him really bad.
Yeah, I would imagine that he starts hitting on some dungeons here now that he's got his flute active. So it's a matter of just where do you start? Like, do you dip into Thieves Town here, or? Potty's turn seems like a good combo.
Yeah, starting with the bow dungeons. This will get him his fire rod, meaning he'll be just the hookshot away from probably Go mode. Kermit headed through this dark maze. Again, he did not get the lamp from Dig Game, so going through the dark maze backwards is never fun, and it's always slower than if you had the lamp. Looks like he's found his way to the second chest, which has the compass.
Navigating it fairly well for not having the lamp.
Nicely done. Looks like it was the map, Kermit. He was checking his menu there, trying to figure out what that invisible item was in the bottom chest.
I believe it's a lot of like yellow colored like items that just don't show up in the dark.
Yeah, the most notorious one is when you find the mitts in a dark room.
Yeah, it's always terrible. Ooh, nice. Bottle of blue goo. Convenient safety item.
So all in all, pod ended up being mostly empty. We do have one more check left. The boss will have an item. But as far as Kermit knows, this is like totally out of logic. All right, these dark rooms coming up for Kermit. This is the more difficult part of doing this without the lamp. He does have the fire rod, which if he uses it properly, makes it so much easier.
Yeah, at least he has that blue goo, so.
He's having a little trouble getting out of this room. There we go. All right, so this is a lonely turtle. Just hits that one, and then there is a torch directly to the right and down from him. He could light with the fire rod. Opts to hammer the turtles first, and now they've all moved around and gotten in his way. That's not good. There we got one.
There we go.
Yeah, so there is a nifty setup you can do to light that really easy with a sword. If you just, with your sword held down, diagonal down left in the room, you can shoot your fire rod immediately after you tink on the turtle, and it will light the torch every time.
Oh, nice. I kind of like that. I didn't know about that.
Alternatively, you can just like turn to the left and shoot down, and hopefully you move the right distance.
Yeah, usually what I do is I just sort of like follow the wall, and once I count it out in my head that I've moved so much, I take the shot and usually get it. But I like that turtle tink thing.
Yeah, Ralen gets to that room super quickly by virtue of being able to see what he's doing. So definitely a little bit of time gained here for Ralen over Kermit, just by virtue of having the lamp.
All for 20 bucks.
Yep, Kermit picks up his second crystal and now has to go somewhere else. So we know the flipper checks are super valuable. So like if he walks out to Pyramid in order to catfish, that's huge. But he has other crystals he can full clear right now. Like he can full clear Skull Woods, he can full clear Thieves Town. So definitely more appealing to go after those crystals.
And who knows, that could be where the hookshot lies.
Yeah, exactly. That's why like I think Kermit might have an advantage depending on where this hookshot is. Like if the hookshot's just in one of these two crystal dungeons, then Kermit hits go mode the first time he does any overworld because like the flipper checks just look so good. So he'll probably do flipper checks early. Where Ralen, if he starts going to places that aren't crystal dungeons, then suddenly we're full clearing the game instead of going to the back Skull Woods or something. I think he'll probably go to crystals though, and they should be pretty even. And the hookshot's probably just like on Laser Bridge. That's more normal for rando seeds.
Sounds about par for the course. We're at a point where we can clear 6 crystal dungeons and get to the other 2, potentially open them. We'll see.
Kermit headed straight to the back of Skull Woods. This is a standard fare, even when it's not Ambrosia. But in Ambrosia, it is even better because we know there's going to be an item on Mothula. It's funny that Ralen didn't do the hammer jump when it actually would have been really helpful. And Kermit did the hammer jump, but it wasn't helpful. Yeah, if Ralen had done the hammer jump there, he would have got the bug net from the big chest and known that the other 2 chests were map and compass and been able to leave. Kermit rationing his magic here, opting to go for Ether to kill all those Gibdos. Don't blame him. The fighter sword he has is not super effective against Mothula.
No, not particularly. I'll keep as many shots of that as you can.
Yeah, standard strategy here is open with the fighter sword spin, use all your magic, and then switch to hammer. Kermit's bypassing the fire rod, which I don't understand because he saved the magic.
Probably think if he could get a couple early hammer hits in while there's fewer spikes around, could get the fire rod hits in when he's trying to dodge the spikes.
Maybe planning to use the cape or something if he gets into trouble. But no trouble to be had. Kermit takes down Mothula with that hammer for crystal number 3.
And now we search Skull Woods for the other dungeon. Or item. Yes, hello Skull Woods. Do you happen to have a Thieves Town inside of you today?
Just to answer chat, average time for a speedrun of Rando is hard to say. The seeds are always so much different from each other. Typically anywhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours as Soul set is a pretty standard fare, but we've seen seeds anywhere from like 1 hour flat to 2.5 hours. Even for the best runners, if the seed is trolling enough, it can take quite a long time.
It also depends on the modes you're playing and how experienced you are, because newer players are definitely going to take a little bit longer time.
Ralen not having a better Armos fight than Kermit did.
They're just really extra tough today.
I feel like Armos is one of those fights where you don't put a lot of work into getting good at it, because it's not that hard. So, and like 90% of the time you don't mess up.
Yep. So it looks like the last item here is in the big chest.
Yeah, no help from Ambrosia today. Oh, Kermit. So Kermit's doing a bonk setup with the bomb jump here. He sets on the bomb and then bonks into the wall to increase the radius of how far away from the pit he can stand and still get bonked across. But he accidentally dashed the wrong direction and went through the doorway.
Well, I didn't catch it on Ralen's pass through, but apparently our tracker did. Myra is bombos today, so can't quite get in there yet. And that's some nice convenient power.
Ralen headed through Desert Palace. This is a crystal. He can full clear it. But does it have the hook shot?
We shall see.
Kermit, meanwhile, headed east over to Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb from Skull Woods. I doubt he's going to swim over to Catfish and Mirror and do the flipper checks, though. But he could, and it would be very good for him.
No, we'll see what's on his mind today. I can see him going at least to King's Tomb.
Yeah, I'll definitely go to King's Tomb. I just think he's probably going to rush back and go into Village of Outcasts after this. Which is fine. I mean, as long as he does those flipper checks before doing something sillier. And with the mitts being locked behind the flipper checks, he's not going to have that many options for doing things that are sillier. It's mostly just climbing the mountain. Ralen setting up for his Fire Rod fight here. So good. 6 shots, 6 hits, 1 dead landmo. Crystal number 3.
Or is it 3 dead landmo?
Are they not like connected to each other underneath the sand?
I don't know, because they jump out and like
I don't know.
the hot takes.
I mean, do we ever see their head and tail at the same time? Like maybe when the head detaches, the tail is attached, and then as the tail undetaches, or whatever, the head reattaches.
We'll have to pay attention during Landmo too.
Ralen still needs one more item from this dungeon. Unfortunately, over on the key lock side. Again, no help from Ambrosia. It's okay. They got a lot of Ambrosia help in Eastern. That was really nice, the layout there.
Yeah. Kermit doing these Village of Outcasts checks and routing in the sick kid for a piece of heart.
And there's the second item. And last location, Desert, no help today.
Ooh, that's a tempered.
That is nice to find. And it's definitely in a place that Kermit may not ever go to. Like, if he finds Go mode before, or like if his mitts or flute is Go mode, like, he's not going to check that.
Definitely not, so...
It all depends on where this hookshot is, which currently we have no information on. The mountain's looking pretty good, though. It's too dense to not have something, right?
Laser Bridge or Trinex. Just to mess with you. Because, like, this seat has just been too nice so far, right? Like, things have been awful convenient.
Yeah, everything's been mostly on the way here. Like, the mitts and the flute, you'd say they're not on the way to a dungeon, but they're in a dense overworld area. It's checks that you want to do. Alright, Ralen making the play towards his other crystal dungeons, Skull and Thieves. But we already saw those from Kermit, and they weren't helpful.
Oh, and this Mothkill fight is going to be a lot quicker on Ralen's side with that tempered sword.
Well, probably not quicker, but definitely safer. Like the hammer does more damage than the tempered sword. Than the. Or no, wait. It does the same damage.
They're the
as tempered
same.
sword.
Yeah.
Blah blah. Words.
How do I English? I don't know. English is a bad language.
Oops, de war es auch nicht.
See, it just flows.
Does that mean something? I'm sure it is.
I believe it's
And it's not
oops,
just a
it
random
wasn't
words.
there either.
Oh. Wait, the German word for oops is oops?
That's where we stole it from.
Oh my gosh. Alright, Kermit starting his blind fight here. Only the fighter sword, but doesn't really matter, because blind... It's pretty weak.
He doesn't care what sword you have.
Oh, that's not a good spin, though. Gonna be a little off script here at the end, but we're pretty close, so good enough.
That Wallmaster almost made his way in, though.
Mothula being pretty rude here for Ralen. There we go. Go to the middle of the room. That'll do it.
I was gonna say, when is Mothula not rude?
Every now and then he just hangs out in the very center of the room and he's really, really easy to kill. So apparently Kermit has decided to completely and forever orphan Dig Game, instead heading north. And he's going to climb the mountain.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he checked all this up here first, but yeah, he's going up the mountain.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was just gonna run over to Catfish and mirror the flipper checks, which I really would have liked as a play in general. But going to the mountain is also fine. Like typically, at some point, you have to do this walk anyway to set up the old man saving point.
Yeah, I'm probably thinking if he finds the flute or the lamp up here, that gives him a little bit of knowledge. Which, unfortunately, neither of them are up here.
Yeah, essentially what's happening here is Kermit's out of crystal dungeons that he can full clear, so he's going after dense overworld. And right now, the mountain is the most dense he has. I think I still would have preferred doing like the flipper checks over this because you have Tower of Hera in your way on this trek. So like if you don't find anything East Death Mountain, you're full clearing Tower of Hera.
Yeah, it's also a matter of whether you're trying to really stay close to the logic or not.
Right. Yeah, it's not in logic for him because he hasn't picked up that lamp. Although we know that it's in logic.
Yeah, and he's probably figuring also that it's in logic at some point here.
Yeah, seed where you get to skip all the mountain checks is a unicorn, indeed. Oh, Kermit being very thorough here. Actually going to go down to the basement to get this big key so that he can finish the dungeon. This is a time sink that Ralen needs Kermit to invest in. Ralen just headed over to Graveyard Ledge before heading down into Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, just not wanting to orphan this completely out. You're welcome. We're going to take a good old trek up here to see our buddy Moldorm.
Yeah, there's certainly nothing wrong with Kermit full clearing Tower of Hera here. I mean, it's 2 items, and you get the green pendant out of it as well. It's just East of Mountain is more efficient. Like, it's more checks per minute. And you could just route this in after East of Mountain if you still felt like you needed stuff. Which he probably would have, because like he wouldn't found the mitts or the flute or anything. So this probably ends up being most of the same. The only question is, like, maybe the hook shot's over in Paradox Cave and he could have just Hera potted.
It's all a lot of what ifs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice Moldorm fight.
Mm-hmm. And we get our second item in the dungeon. It is 3 bombs.
Yay, bombs.
Kermit takes the pendant lead over Ralen and Tankir for our inevitable hookshot on pedestal, right? Chat, right?
So chat's always hoping for. Hey, how could we make this bad and terrible? Well, let's just always root for pedestal.
You know, as a streamer, it's sometimes it's really depressing when chat's constantly rooting against you.
I like to root for Ped like every once in a while, but it's like, you know, sometimes just give him that nice seed. You want to see that really quick, like, let's clean this up in an hour seed. Let's see that super jet seed that like everything lines up, all the stars align. Because the fun with those is then you get to see all the low percent plays and have to do all the difficult boss fights. There is Bombos.
Ah, wow. Okay, so Bombos is going to open up Misery Mire.
It gives us one item because we can't get to Vitreous just yet.
Yeah, definitely not a high percent play. But high percent is still, or low percent is still greater than 0. I think our runners are probably better off aiming for more dense checks for the moment.
Absolutely.
But there's a point where like you run out of things that are considered dense.
Kermit, what do you have left up here?
Spiky.
Ah, yes.
So this is why I would have liked him to do Hera last, because he was coming back over here anyway. And if you found something really nice in Paradox Cave, then you're like, aha, I'm not doing Tower of Hera. Okay, I don't know why he's going into Tower of Hera. That's confusing. I think it was just a mistake.
Maybe you thought for a brief second, oh right, I left an item in there, and it's like, oh wait, no, I got both.
All right, and Ralen Tankir takes the crystal lead, 5-4.
Finish up the loaded broadcast here, probably do the Smith chain and purple chest real quick. And then maybe skip in, jump on over to Ice Palace and see what's going on over there.
I could definitely see him skipping out on doing the Smith Chain. Smith Chain is pretty slow in general. Like, it never feels good to do it. But this is, like, the most convenient time for him to do it. And he's been pretty thorough so far.
And he has had a lot of success with the overworld, so what's not to say that, hey, what if I find my hookshot and hammer pegs here?
Kermit checking some Darkworld locations south of Link's house. Not going into Swamp. Instead, going to head up to Flipper Checks, it looks like. All right, this is good. Good for Kermit.
I like it.
Yeah, if you guys remember, these are the same checks that Ralen did before going into Pot and Easter, where he found the mitts and the flute in the single arrow, of course.
Also not picking up the Arrow of Destiny.
Ralen have a little trouble with this item dash here. There we go. Alright, so following this Smith chain, what is Ralen gonna do? I gotta think he's just gonna go to the mountain.
He either goes to the mountain, or I would imagine potentially just doing Ice Palace to finish it, and you know, if you find who's out there, cool, but very unlikely.
Ice Palace is fine, yeah. I can count on one hand the number of times I found hookshot in Ice Palace. Is the problem with that.
Oh right, and we have Magic Bat here too. Almost forgot about that. We could see the green pennant turn in too.
Which is the book. Okay.
Oh boy. That could be interesting.
It's actually kind of bad for Kermit. It's
I mean,
like it's drawing him away from the rest of the flipper checks.
true, but what if it leads him to hookshot? When does Ralen do Tower of Hera?
Probably right after this.
Maybe. We'll see. Only Ralen knows.
Alright, looks like Raylan's gonna go after Ice Palace here. Ice Palace is admittedly a little nicer in Ambrosia, but not always.
Yeah, it's kind of nice just because Cold Stare can't be Samaria locked. So you know,
Turn in his mushroom.
get his Master Sword. Be very happy about that.
Yeah, so like you're saying, Ice Palace sometimes requires Gain of Samaria and sometimes requires Hookshot, but sometimes it doesn't require either logically. So both have a chance of being in the dungeon, but statistically it's less likely.
Yeah, I think another reason to want to do Ice Palace too, though, is to rule out Fat Fairy, because if it is Hookshot locked, then you know that Hookshot can't be on Fat Fairy. In this case, at least.
Aw, that means we have to pay attention to the keys. Darn it.
Which we got a big key, so I believe it's as long as we don't find a small, it's not Hookshot locked. I swear I've read the Ice Palace logic, and I question it every single time I try to think about it.
It's I find it really difficult to think about it in situations
Oh,
like
hi,
that.
Hookshot.
Wow. Wow! Alright, Kermit won the game, you guys. GG, Kermit! No, not necessarily. But that is really, 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 really good for him. Okay,
Yeah,
so
'cause-
probably what's going to happen is Kermit's going to full clear Swamp, and then do the flipper checks, and he'll get Go Mode mitts.
Yeah, because I was going to say, there's not many checks left for him to check where the mitts could be, so...
There
Once
is
he
also
has that...
the Cane of Samaria is still like up in the air, like that might be required.
It's like... 20% required, something like that?
The
If
other
key's on
thing
right
here-
side?
Oh, I don't know. It's 5 checks out of 22, so it's this. I can't. Those numbers don't go into each other. I can't do that.
Yeah. They're not even, can't divide by it. 4th grade math. You just can't do it.
It's too hard. Okay, yeah, but for Kermit here, he finishes Desert, he gets nothing. He's gonna go to Swamp, he gets nothing, and it's like, oh my god, where's the mitts? And then he does flipper checks. They're like, oh, there they are. Hey, that's pretty much Go Mode. And then he's gonna skip out on the Sword and Checkerboard, Go Mode Ice Palace, which Ralen is full clearing, and head on to GT and hope that it's not Samaria locked. Just under 25% chance of Samaria requirement. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance.
And Samaria may well be in GT somewhere, so who knows? I'm sure the child will be rooting for that at least.
Yeah, it's definitely the standard way to handle that situation. The maybe Samaria is just full clear GT. If you don't find Samaria, walk out and start doing other checks, like Turtle Rock. Well, not Turtle Rock because it's Samaria, but
Hookshot
like
Cave. Near Turtle Rock. In the vicinity of Turtle Rock.
But this is especially bad for Kermit, though, because he has the mitts already and the hook shot's out of the way. So before he takes the green pendant, turns it in, and then checks Bombo's tablet, he's probably going to do like typically Mitzlock things, like the Smith sequence, which he already did, like Dark Death Mountain, maybe going into Mire, full clearing Ice Palace, all of these things that Kermit's going to be able to skip.
Or if, say, you know, Cadence of Maria is on Dark Death Mountain, dip that Turtle Rock.
Yeah, if he finds Cadence Maria before the hook shot, that's really, really bad news. Or it could be really awesome news if it's required. Everything's up in the air.
Know.
But everything's up in the air. But I think Kermit does have the advantage right now.
I have to say, I've never seen anyone push that statue left before.
Oh, what happened?
Just Ralen pushed the statue from right to left instead of left to right. It was just like, I've never actually seen anyone do it that way.
Wait, what statue?
The one before Cold Stare. You know, the two statues that have small magic under them? I'm sorry!
There's two statues.
Yeah, he pushed the right statue to the left.
That's how everybody does it.
I'm so lost.
I
feel betrayed.
You're coming from the right. So you're saying you go all the way to the wall and pull the left statue up?
Yeah, he pulled the right statue up and then pushed the right statue to the left. I always push to the right. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
I mean, it's very slightly faster to push it left because you're walking down on the right side.
I mean, I guess that's true. It's just one of those things that's just like, you don't think about it.
That's a good point in chat. Speedrunners think about it. Every frame matters, right?
Right, so like you were saying, it looks like Kermit headed into Swamp, probably get a full clear. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ralen doing Mitzlock locations that are not going to have the hook shot. Were we paying attention to key logic in Ice Palace?
I believe Ice-T did not have a small, so I believe it was a hookshot open, or not hookshot lock.
Freezor and the Big Chest didn't have a small?
Freezor had a map, and I believe Ice-T had an item.
Well, regardless, Pyramid Fairy did not pay off for Ralen. He'll have to go somewhere else, probably the mountain.
Yeah, I can't think of much else that he has left aside from wanting to go into Swamp with no hookshot, which no one wants that.
I mean, the mountain's fine. The mountain's where it needs to go. This is where the green pendant's going to be. But it does require tower room. It's funny, like, you couldn't do Harapot this scene. It was impossible.
The game just said no glitches for you.
Of course, even if Ralen does Hera and kills Voldorm and gets the green pendant, like, he's going to be up here for longer than Kermit was because he also has access to the mid stuff. And then even after the mountain, he still has to go turn the green pendant in, which he may not do. Like, he has other options.
Yeah, I'm worried because Bombos is up here on the mountain. If he finds Cadence Maria in Dark Death Mountain, that may push him to Mire before turning in that green pendant.
Oh, if he finds Cadence Maria up here, he's doing TR.
That too.
Even more than just Mire. Cadence Maria would be the worst thing ever for Ralen right now. Because the problem with Kane, like even if the Kane ends up being required for GT, Dark Death Mountain's like the first place Kermit's gonna go after finding that out. So he wouldn't be going anywhere weird. Like if Ralen's gonna find the Cane of Samaria before the hookshot and it being required, it needs to be like in Mire or something like that. Someplace Kermit would want to put off.
So I'm curious to see how Ralen will route this. If he'll do Hera first like Kermit did, or go east. Looks like Tower first.
It's pretty normal to walk into Hera when you're coming up this way on the mountain. I do expect him to leave when he finds out that it's fire locked, and opt to do the other checks instead.
That's what it looks like.
There he goes. It was surprising to me that Kermit didn't do this, but Kermit was also a lot more items away from go mode, so he felt like, I'll just do it.
Yeah, whereas for Ralen, it's just, I'm looking for the hook shot. If it was in those two checks, then I'm done. But let's go do all these other way more checks over here first now.
It's perfectly fine, you guys, that he's not doing Hera. He has the opportunity to go back to it after Dark Death Mountain. So when he does all of Paradox, Spiral, Super Bunny, One Chest, and Hookshot Cave, and still doesn't have anything good, he'll probably go back into Hera at that point. And because it's Green Pendant we're after and not the hookshot itself, even if he did Hera first, he would still do all these checks, so it ends up being the same. Right, unless he finds Cane of Samaria, and then everything's borked. Alright, Ralen doing his best to skip Paradox Cave. Oh, changed his mind. Let's do Paradox. I've done that before.
Wait a minute, this isn't the one that I want to do first.
Ralen gets his bombos. He knows that that unlocks Mire, and he is not happy about it.
And we'll also be finding out in a minute here what unlocks CR, so... The ultimate hope is that it's Quake, right? But we all know that Quake will be, like, if it is Quake, it's going to be in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, definitely. Kermit finishing off Argus here. Slower fight with the Master Sword for sure. He could do double pulls and like a spin, but it is a little tricky to do that, opting for single pulls with 2 slashes. All right, Ralen checking Super Bunny Cave here. These are new checks. We have not seen the contents of these. While Kermit picks up Crystal number 5. Or, wait, 6. Hey, Butter Sword. So that's a really nice place for a sword for Kermit. It is pretty common to, on the way to GT with Master Swords Overlist, to check Super Bunny Cave. And he will get rewarded with a sword.
Yep, and that'll put him up to Tempered, which will be very nice, going up to Ganon instead of being on Master Sword.
Alright, no Samaria on Dark Death Mountain, so Ralen is safe for now. Gonna check the TR medallion just in case he needs it. And it's also Bombos. Kermit, do your flipper checks. All right. Good news. Ralen is headed back into Tower of Hera as expected. So he will get the green pendant. And it's just a matter of time before he turns it in. And then another matter of time before he turns in Bombos. God, this is gross.
I think the worst thing for him, I believe, would be to go and start doing swamp instead of turning in green pendant or checking the mire.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly wouldn't be like a bad play. Like that's fine. You know, left side swamp is usually a fair bit of items, and if the hook shot's there, you have like this huge advantage for having made the call because everybody wants to avoid that. But I don't know, with how he's routed so far, I gotta think he's gonna go straight after green pendant.
Yeah, especially with fruit, green pendant is pretty fast. It's just you never know with these runners. They like you like to say things as a commentator, is like, yeah, they're definitely going to do this after, and then they don't, and you're disappointed.
All right, so Kermit found his mitts. He knows he is in probably go mode, 74% go mode or whatever it was.
Whatever Twitch chat calculated for us, and we said, yep, that is math.
So we'll probably see Kermit check like on the way locations, just in case of Samaria. But for the most part, go moding through Ice Palace. So this will undoubtedly be a faster clear of Ice Palace than Ralen had. Alright, Ralen coming after his Moldorm fight. He is more than equipped for this. 2 slashes will do the job. And he gets the hook shot as soon as he turns
Part
in the
one
for the book and then goes to Bombo's tablet. My goodness. That's so gross. The required fire-locked pendant Moldorm for green pendant, which you turn in for a book and then have to go to Bombo's tablet.
I guess he was at least telling you need to go to Bombo's tablet because you got bombs off of Moldorm, then you get the book. Obviously, you go to Bombo's tablet. Like it's just that simple.
Bombos is definitely like the nicer of the 2 tablets that it could be on, because like you have to enter the Dark World to get into Swamp anyway. But if it's the other one, then you just enter the Dark World for no reason, and then you have to go back to the mountain, and then re-enter the Dark World. It really depends.
And everything's just terrible.
About it. Yep. All right, where are we going, Ralen? Turn in that green pendant. Let's see it. Book.
Going somewhere. Where are we going?
Don't go to Meyer. Don't go to Meyer. Yes! Green
That's
pendant.
green pendant. Chat pointing out this seed is gross. Just every seed is gross in its own special sort of way.
Absolutely. Alright, we got the book. Now. Go Bombos. Let's see it.
We have 2 parts of our hook shot,
No,
and we're going ether.
No! And that is crystal number 7. 7.
The magic number 7.
Alright, guys, we are headed now to... Oh my god, I'm blanking. Ganon's Tower.
Ganon's
Tower. That's it. That's the one. There
That's
are
the place we're
22
going.
locations. 22 locations that contain the big key. 5 of them are locked by Samaria. by the way, that we don't have. But if you would like to, guess 1 through 22 on where the big key will be, and we will follow Kermit's count since he's going to get there first.
So for those playing the home game, 18 through 22 are Samaria locked, potentially, depending on Samaria being in GT.
Right. So if you guess 18 through 22, you have some like grudge against Kermit for some reason, and I suggest talking it out. Communication is key, you guys. But the rule is we will be following Kermit's count through the dungeon. So even if Ralen does find it first, which could absolutely happen if it ends up being Samaria locked, Kermit's count will be the one we go off of. And Kermit is going up to Super Money. This is actually really, really good for him. Tempered Sword pretty much erases the sword advantage that Ralen has.
There's Ralen's hook shot.
And that's probably go mode for Ralen too. Guess we don't know.
70% go mode. So I'm just trying to think real quick. Other than GT, there's not many places that Samaria could be if our big key is over on the right side somewhere.
Yeah, it's just Meyer and I
Hookshot
guess
Cave.
whatever fetch quests maybe we find or something. I guess we have them all, don't we? Yeah, Hookshot Cave too.
So let's see, Kermit, where is our big key today? Did we stop the bot? Did we get that all done?
Yeah, Drassi's taking care of it. Thank you, Drassi.
Awesome. I was like, I wasn't paying attention to that. We got our first 2 checks, key and bomb. We are moving left because we don't want our number 3 to be tile room.
Well, we can't get to Tower.
That too. Never mind me.
Oh, and there's Cadence Mario, so this is 100% go mode for Kermit.
We did it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but Ralen doesn't really have much opportunity to come back anymore. There's still like execution that could change the lead, but it would have to be a pretty unfortunate death to Agatu or something like that.
We'll have to see. I mean, maybe the big key is in tile room. Who knows? So I've lost count. Where are we?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because 8, 9, 10, 11.
Drassi's taking care of it. Oh, go all the way to Ironstone Rose. Come on. Alright, Kermit's gonna mirror after the compass room small key and head back to the left side.
So Ralen can make up time if he goes full left or potentially full right. Well, no, you'd have to go left if you wanted to do full right because of the cane.
Yeah, it's not enough.
That was a very nice Argus there.
Yeah, pretty quick. 1 cycle. And the quick kill to follow it. Very nice job.
Just creeping up on Kermit's heels here in GT. So coming up here, we got 13, and then into the rando room for 14 through 18. I can math. 14 through 17.
Never do math on stream.
Never ever. Make Twitch chat do it for you.
Cardinal Twitch roll. If you break it, they revoke your affiliate and partner status, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I don't even have that, so I don't gotta worry about that yet. It's looking like all that's left between Bob's chest, Ice Armos, and Tile Room, everyone's favorite. And there it is.
Bob's
That
chest
was
is the winner.
18, I think.
That sounds right.
Hey, I win.
Did you really? Oh, you got backup points. I see. I feel like maybe you should be allowed to play since you're a part of the production.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I only ever win when I'm part of the production team, so...
Coincidence? I think not.
Game's rigged, clearly.
It's because we get to see the game about 5 seconds faster than chat does.
So we know. We have the slight advantage.
Yep. Kermit making his way through the gauntlet here. Very nice Stalfos room. Even if an unorthodox order in which to kill them.
Meanwhile, these Stalfos giving Ralen a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, killing the Stalfos though does mean he will be headed left side completely. So we'll find that Bakey a little bit faster than Kermit did. But yeah, unfortunately just too little too late.
Well, we'll see. It could also come down to whether either of the players decide to check the couple chests at the top, and if silvers are there and one checks them and the other doesn't, could drastically change the speed again. And
no, it can, unfortunately. Silver saved like 30 seconds on Ganon. Yeah, a little more if your silverless fight isn't very good. But like Kermit's several minutes ahead right now.
I'm just saying, you never know.
I know it's like my job to, make it exciting and stuff, but there's just no hope. I've lost all hope.
You must keep hope. That's how. I don't know. I was supposed to come up with something inspirational there, and it just didn't work. But just keep hope. You never know. Could be a close race.
If Kermit dies right now, this would be a very close race. Nice small key pickup. Doesn't even have to kill the mini Boldworms anymore.
I feel like that bomb just never gets on the conveyor properly when you want it to.
Yeah, from lining up from the doorway, you want to take a very small step down and then throw it. If you step too far, it just lands on the wall and sits there. Alright, well, all hopes of Kermit dying have pretty much been washed away with that powder.
And on to Aga 2. Nice solid double there.
Aga being a little meaner than Kermit would like. But easy forward cycle.
Yeah, I'll take a 4 cycle. 4 cycle's not bad.
No, I'm not complaining unless I get like a 6 cycle.
Alrighty, on to the Ganon fight. Nice, gets the spin off the trident there.
Yeah, Kermit's setting up his 1-and-1 here. Oh, he missed it.
I think that last hit coming in is just barely too late.
This is a very awkward position to get 12 slashes. And it looks like he's going to miss it, yeah. The time it took to activate the cape was just enough. Nice fire bat dodges, though.
Alright, Ganon. Where were the silvers this seed? Misery Mire, your tower.
Stop warping! Oh my gosh! Gain it, please.
Come on, we could have gone for like 20 more times. Turtle Rock. Oh, that's a fun place for silvers to be. No one was finding them there.
Very liberal use of Kermit's magic here, but he does have that potion. He's not too worried about it. Oh, accidentally turns him blue there. The idea here is to spin Ganon as he begins his warp away.
I believe it's 12 spins on Tempered and Gold.
That is correct. Yep.
We're about halfway there now, at least.
Kermit's just a little early on that that spin. Out of magic, drinking the potion. There you go, nice trouble.
Very nicely done, serverless fight by Kermit. And as long as Kermit doesn't trip over his feet and miss that bridge.
Yep, Kermit takes the win here, guys. Finishes with a time of 128.50, securing a win for Team Hime over Oops, de Warisoknicht. Ralen not too far behind. He shouldn't feel too bad about this one. Just got randed a little bit by finding the mitts a little too early.
Here you go, just have way too many options. Ooh, nice triple. And now Ralen will be jumping down into the Ganon fight here momentarily.
We do have Kermit waiting in the wings for an interview, but I think we could probably wait for Ralen to finish and then get him at the same time.
Sounds like a plan.
Should just be a couple more minutes for Ralen to take out the big pig.
Yeah, especially with butter, it'll be very easy to hit those one-on-ones.
Yeah, butter definitely makes the 1-in-1 pretty free. The tempered 1-in-1 is deceptively difficult.
It's not bad, it's just a little tight depending on where he warps to. Alright, I almost forgot Rude Ganon.
Yeah, all the warps.
Could have been worse, could have been 30. Oh no!
Oh, Ralen misses the torch glitch. It's going to make a very uncomfortable silverless fight. I believe he also has a magic refill though, so he can...
Yeah, I believe he also has that blue potion.
He's gonna have a hard time getting 2 hits per cycle though if he keeps using double lamp. You can do 2 hits, but you have to stop him at just the right spot.
Yeah, and Ganon has to not completely run in the opposite direction when you light the second torch.
Yeah, usually in this situation, you're probably better off just fire riding twice, because then the torches are lit close enough together that you can easily get 2 hits. But you know, magic is sometimes a concern.
Ralen giving me a heart attack there. He took that fire bat like poke just a moment ago.
Oh, does he not have a potion? Did he use it?
I thought he still had the blue.
Chat saying that he used it in GT.
Must have missed that.
Regardless, he has tons of magic. He'll be able to do this with the lamp. Just a hit or 2 away, I think. Don't walk into fire bats, though. Okay, now you're scaring me, Ralen. That should be his last chance. He won't be able to light him again. Hey,
Just
one
enough.
hit. We got him. Perfect.
That's all we needed.
GG's.
Get your GG's in chat for Ralen.
And Ralen finishes with a time of 1:33.43. Unfortunately, not enough to take the win, but still a good time.
Very good time.
And we're now joined in the voice chat by both Kermit and Ralen Tankir. GG's, you guys.
GG.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are both from Germany, right? So this is the other German finals.
Yeah, that's
Very
correct.
correct.
So next up is Kermit versus Yoshi, right?
Oh, not again, please.
Yeah. So this seed, it really just came down to the order in which you found the items. Like everybody made the right calls, just in different orders. Ralen did those flipper checks before Pot and Eastern, so he got the mitts and the flute, and it's like I made the right call. I went to the right place and got the things, but it unlocked too much of the game, and you ended up doing a lot more checks before following that green-headed book into hookshot disgustingness. Whereas for Kermit, he did that disgusting play before the flipper check. So like mitts were his go mode. So things like Ice Palace was always a definite go mode. Got to skip the Smith sequence and even found your third sword on the way to GT, which was like the only saving grace of Ralen's route was the sword in Checkerboard Cave.
It was a very interesting seed, but yeah, I got really afraid when I found the mids. I felt pretty far ahead in the beginning because of the early boots and stuff, and everything went pretty well. But yeah, the mids kind of shook me up. I thought that hookshot might save me though when I found it on the tablet. But yeah, it was a pretty nice seed, honestly. I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I was in hookshot go mode at 25 minutes around there, and I thought to myself when I found those mids, I basically thought, okay, where is that hookshot? I omit that one word that I added for myself. Yeah, I knew from that point on either this is really, really fast and I'm probably winning this with a landslide, or yeah, that hookshot will be somewhere very bad.
Awful.
Kermit will probably find it first, and then it depends on how bad is it. And when it's kind of last location, like it was here, yeah.
So you guys had actually identical routing at the beginning of the game, right up until Stumpy. After Stumpy, Kermit went back over to Pod, and Ralen went one more check further and got the lamp in the game.
Yeah,
So
that would have helped.
Yeah, it ended up not being like super impactful because you just find the fire rod over in Sahasra's side, so you don't need the lamp. But yeah, it would have been a nice thing to have for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But talk to us, Ralen, about your decision to do the catfish route with the flipper checks instead of going into Eastern and Pod, since you did have the lamp. I thought for sure you would do Eastern and Pod because you found the lamp.
Yeah, the thing about this is I was about to do Eastern Pod after I checked Lake Hylia and Hobo, and finding that flute actually made me change doing to Catfish Zora, because with that flute activation I can just return to Pod and Eastern easily after it. But going to Catfish is not as easy with the flute. So when I go that way, I decided to do the slower thing, or that one that I can't get easily back to, then activate the flute and do Pod Eastern after.
Checking catfish voluntarily, very crazy.
I mean,
I'm the left side swamp though, Kermit.
So
I'm a bit biased, to be honest, in Ambrosia with left side swamp, so I decided to check it.
Yeah, I'm a bit more inclined to do certain checks because I scouted against Kermit and I know a few checks that Kermit doesn't like, so yeah. Kind of planned my route around those checks to maybe get an advantage, and kind of did with the lamp.
I mean, it totally it paid off in the moment, right? Like, you know, because like going to Eastern Pod was the play. That's the thing that everyone's gonna do, and you go somewhere else, and that somewhere else led to more progression. It's like, ooh, flute mitts. This is great. This is fantastic. If the hook shot is just on the way, like If the hookshot was just in Super Bunny Cave or in Skull Woods, like you would have had a severe advantage over Kermit.
Yeah. I mean, on a normal seed with the exact same routing, I'd say Kermit is a little bit stronger, so I had to take some place somewhere to gain that advantage.
sure.
So, yeah. I planned around those checks to route them more likely. Also Smith Chain,
Ooh.
because of that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna check that.
I mean,
It would have worked out a little better if you did the mountain before Smith Chain, because then you check bombos like at the end of Smith Chain or something. I don't think it would have made a difference though.
nah, I was at that point. I was kind of saying, okay, Kermit is likely went up the mountain first because he didn't get those mids. So if the hookshot is up there, I'm probably at a disadvantage because I expect Kermit to find those mids in time.
Yeah, that's exactly
So
what happened. Kermit went up the mountain after Skullwoods and Thievestown. When he was looking for something, mountain looked pretty good. Lots of checks up there, and ends up with green pendant.
Yeah.
So, like, that the only thing he found out there was this green pendant, which leads to the book/gag. So it did. So finding the hookshot before the mids did mean that you ended up full clearing Swamp Palace, which was a lot slower than Ralen go moding it later. But that alone ended up being less time than all the Mitch checks combined.
Yeah. I mean, at first when I found the flute, I kinda eyed Meyer for the hookshot for a while. But with only one item there and the cane not being found anywhere soon, I decided to push that back.
Yeah, so talk to us about the cane, because just by virtue of where the cane was, both of you were forced to go into GT without it, knowing full well that 5 of those checks were completely inaccessible. Were you worried at all about the cane location?
No.
Never.
I mean, I fully expected if the cane location were to be a problem, I fully expected Kermit to have the same problem. So basically, it's net zero at that point.
Yeah, I'll always go for it. Like, if there's a chance I can finish the seed, I'll just go for it. And yeah, I wasn't worried about it at all.
Yeah, and at the point I finally found hookshot, I basically cleared so much of the game that if the
It
cane
had to be in
is,
GT.
yeah, if the cane is not in GT, then yeah, whatever. I would have lost anyway.
Yeah, I think best case scenario would have been like the cane was required and in Misery Mire or something, because I think Ralen would have made his way to Mire sooner than Kermit did, just because he'd already done all those other checks. But nope, just sitting there in Stalfo's room and not even needed.
Yeah. Also decided against check and right side after finding that cane, because I expected Kermit to be more likely to make that play, and
That's exactly what he did.
try to gain a little bit of time, and that
has never paid off for me, by the way. Every single time I've been in that situation, following the cane I find in GT is always wrong.
I am kind of lucky on those guesses because the way I do it is usually right. Doesn't matter anyway because I lost at that point most of the time, but when I decide, I usually get the right one there.
Well, at the end of the day, Hime does take the win over Oops, Dewar Esaknik. So GG's Kermit, and I mean your team still has a ton of points according to the layout here, Ralen. So looking good.
We had a perfect start up until this point, so the victory here wasn't as needed. Going 3-3 or going tied against Hime, I think is a good outcome for our team. So yeah, this was somewhat of a less pressure race for me, and a more pressure race for Kermit because going with 3 points out of the first 2 weeks for a team that is or was probably one of the favorites for playoff place, that wouldn't have been good. So yeah.
Yeah, I was really nervous before this race. Really need the points.
Yeah, and there was that one Ambrosia we played a few days ago where I actually beat Kermit, so I knew it was possible.
Well, it's always possible to beat me, that's for sure.
Yeah, tried my best, and it wasn't meant to be. Still, we're in a good position, and now I'm looking forward to next week.
Well, I think we're about ready to wrap it up, you guys. Thank you guys so much for racing for us. Always nice to have something to watch here in the early morning. Although I guess it's a little later in the day in Germany.
Yeah.
Again, big thank you to both Kermit and Ralen Tankir. Make sure to use the !R command to get access to their stream links so you can give them a follow. They totally deserve it. And also, very much thanks to my co-commentator, Amarith. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it was fun.
Solo comming is not fun.
It's always nice to have someone to bounce off of. And Kermit and Raylan, good luck in your future matches coming up.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
And also, big thank you to Dark Diplomat, our tracker, and Drossi for running the big key guessing game for us. Really appreciate that. You guys did a fantastic job. And final word, make sure to keep watching these SpeedGaming channels and the Link to the Past Randomizer League channels, you guys. We have 64 races a week with no stopping in sight. Just open up Twitch, search for Link to the Past, and there's always like 5 or 12 league races on. Can't miss them. That's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll leave the final words to my co-commentator, Amarith.
Don't get randoed and just have a good night. Or day, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you are.
Say bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.